Good afternoon. Thanks for being with us today for SC&H Group's webinar, No Room for Error, Modernizing the Hospitality Industry with Oracle EPM Cloud. I'm Colin Kendall, and I'll be your moderator today. Without any further ado, I'd like to introduce our presenters for today. We have Luke Sinnen, Director at SC&H Group, and Nick Scott, Senior Manager at SC&H.
Thanks, Colin. Okay, today's agenda for the webinar. We're going to go through a quick overview about SC&H Group, the global hospitality landscape, including challenges, opportunities, and solutions. And we'll finish up with a live demo of Oracle Planning Cloud. Just a little bit about SC&H Group, who we are. So SC&H Group is a professional services firm. It's been in business for over 25 years with traditional CPA services such as audit and tax, as well as consulting services, including the business performance management practice that Nick and myself are a part of. We have been a platinum partner with Oracle since 2007. We have a global reach and are headquartered in Washington, D.C. We are the only Oracle partner to achieve Cloud Select status for 2 years in a row. Most importantly, every single client, 100% of them, is a willing positive reference. We specialize in planning, budgeting, and forecasting solutions, as well as close consolidation. We help organizations we work with shorten their planning and close cycles, allowing more time for reporting and analytics. All right, so next we're going to dive into the global hospitality industry, including corporate and consumer trends. So the current state of the hospitality industry includes millennials increasing travel, creating new consumer preferences, including requiring hospitality companies to tailor the travel experience, personalized service, and technology. Tracking and examining micro-level trends, such as how a single traveler spends their time and money, and extrapolating that to a global scale can drive more proactive decision-making for organizations. Hospitality companies are expanding into new markets such as Asia-Pac and turning to M&A activities to diversify the experiences they are capable of providing consumers. Many hospitality companies are exploring cloud solutions to enable this. Cloud solutions allow the ability to scale, which means that large and small hospitalities alike can derive the same benefits, while analyzing data and customizing applications anywhere in the world with connectivity to the internet. Hospitality companies that use cloud-based platforms can operate with far greater agility than those that devote IT resources to managing traditional infrastructure. No trend is having a more pronounced impact on the hospitality industry than consumer demand for personalized experiences. Today's technology-centric society has resulted in a modern consumerism in which tailored experiences are becoming a prerequisite for brand loyalty. This is fueled by the increasing purchasing power of tech-savvy millennials. Next, we'll discuss a few trends in the hospitality industry today from both a corporate and a consumer perspective. Starting with the corporate side, companies are increasingly relying on key drivers, metrics, and historical data to produce accurate, forward-looking plans. Growing companies are establishing a global presence and expanding into new markets either organically or by acquisition. Large hospitality companies are partnering with boutique and independent hotels to give their loyal members an opportunity to stay somewhere unique while still being rewarded for their brand loyalty. Companies are reinventing brands based on rapidly evolving travel preferences. And new generations of travelers and competition, such as Airbnb, require changes to existing brands as well as new brand offerings. Companies are increasingly relying on investing in technology modernization. The overwhelming majority are embracing some type of cloud solution. Almost half of investments in cloud solutions are focused on financial systems. More than half of the hospitality companies are upping their investment in technology year over year. There's also a large focus on customer-facing systems such as smart rooms, where guests can control lights, thermostats from a mobile device, and cloud-based reservation systems. For consumer trends, customers want automated services and a more tech-enabled travel experience. A new tech-savvy generation of travelers want mobile check-in, room service from a mobile app, and keyless room entry amongst a host of other features. Research shows that spending on durable goods has decreased over the past decade, and spending on recreation, travel, and dining out is trending upward. As demand and competition increase in the hospitality industry, companies need to establish brand loyalty through delivering personalized experience to consumers. Companies can leverage data from cloud-based reservation systems to further personalize each guest experience. Hospitality companies are looking to streamline operational processes and facilitate inter-staff communication as much as possible in order to enhance the guest experience. Online marketing techniques are becoming more strategic and targeted, allowing hotels to reach the right audience with a specific, tailored content. Hotels will have to continue to set themselves apart in other ways, such as unique design, modern food and drink offerings, and exceptional amenities if they want to establish consumer loyalty to bring guests back for another stay. Now that we've talked about some of the latest trends in the hospitality industry, let's talk about some of the challenges. Companies are unable to respond in a timely fashion to rapidly changing consumer preferences. This is primarily because too much time is spent collecting and consolidating data to perform adequate analysis. Without thorough analysis, companies may not recognize trends in the data that could affect their outlook for the upcoming months. As a result, managers make reactionary decisions or play catch-up to trends, rather than anticipate them and manage the business proactively. In order to stay competitive, operations managers must be able to assess profitability down to a granular level to offer competitively priced rooms, as well as more personalized amenities and experiences. The automation of hospitality services creates staffing challenges due to changing resource requirements. Without an effective system, managers struggle to change staffing plans to quickly update forecasts and analyze the financial impact. This could lead to inefficient use of staff, which could affect profitability and negatively impact the traveler's experience. Companies' legacy financial systems often do not adequately support the business planning cycle. Systems that are based on inconsistent or outdated definition of key drivers lead to unreliable results. These systems often lack traceable, automated data interfaces that feed source data into the system. They are also limited in their use of historical trends to develop forward-looking plans. It's difficult to compare results across business units or regions if they're using different processes or definitions as key metrics. It's also difficult to define the planning process for new ventures as the company grows. Their systems often lack dependable reporting and data visualization capabilities. It's hard to gain valuable insight from simply looking at multiple grids of data. Companies in dire need of a standardized self-service type of reporting. Lack of centralized and integrated systems translate to a lack of communication between IT, finance, and operations. Cloud solutions present an opportunity to hospitalities to tackle these challenges, allowing them to do more with less. Specifically, cloud solutions allow an organization to be more nimble in handling M&A activity and expedite budgeting, forecasting, close consolidation, and analysis. At SC&H Group, we specialize in planning, budgeting, and forecasting solutions, as well as close consolidation. We help the organizations we work with shorten their planning cycles and close cycles, allowing more time for reporting and analysis. Oracle has a full range of EPM and ERP cloud offerings that can help address these business challenges. Pvcs allows organizations to budget and forecast more accurately. FCCS allows organizations to close the books quicker, as well as more time to report and analyze data. ERP cloud solutions include Financial Cloud and Revenue Management Cloud, as well as Procurement Cloud. Creating flexibility in deployment of cloud solutions for the hospitality industry is critical. These solutions can allow a general manager to plan for an entire property or distribute the planning to department owners such as heads of the golf, spa, and banquets and catering departments. The results can ultimately be reviewed by executive leadership to allow proactive decision-making. Oracle Planning Cloud offers a modern cloud-based system. The fast and responsive system allows users to quickly run through multiple iterations of a forecast or budget and perform thorough what-if analysis. This is complemented with clean, automated data integrations and extracts that gives users access to the latest and greatest source data. Oracle Planning Cloud automatically summarizes, extracts, and sends operations data to corporate FP&A for consolidation in the corporate application. Oracle Planning Cloud also eliminates need for capital investment in infrastructure and future upgrade projects. Oracle manages the servers, applies security patches, and automatically upgrades to new versions of the software that offer the latest and greatest functionality. Moving to the cloud gives companies an opportunity to revisit and standardize business processes across the organization. Legacy systems have often been customized to fit earlier business needs that are no longer relevant. Standardization allows users to adopt the latest best practices of the hospitality industry. It's important for companies to adopt to ever-evolving customer preferences and trends. Standardization allows organizations to consistently align their practices with the constantly shifting landscape. Defining key business drivers leads to more accurate forecasts and comparability across properties and regions. Driver-based calculations allow large portions of the P&L to be calculated and updated with minor changes to a driver. Training new users is much easier when processes are standardized, especially in the event of an acquisition. Oracle Planning Cloud also allows for quick self-service reporting. Users have access to standardized reports through a variety of channels, including HTML, PDF, Excel, and mobile. These channels help to meet a variety of user preferences. For example, users may view reports in Excel if they're more comfortable with that interface, and users who want to view financial statements on the go can view them on a mobile device. Reports always contain the latest and greatest data, and users can run standardized reporting on demand with the most up-to-date actual and planned data. Users have the ability to specify the inputs that will appear in the report. For example, EBITDA in a given month or for the entire year. Ad-Hoc Analysis capabilities allow users to drill down for a more granular view of the data. Data visualization allows managers to quickly make sense of large amounts of complex data. Users can visualize, compare results at a glance with customized dashboards and sophisticated interactive analysis to determine financial impact. Dashboards and analysis are mobile-friendly for quick, on-the-go decisions. Oracle Planning Cloud now enables users to own their own data and results. The combination of a modern system and standardized business process allows companies to proactively manage departments, properties, and brands. By doing so, Oracle Planning Cloud empowers managers to own their data and results. Companies can recognize trends in their data and assess profitability at various levels throughout the organization. They can quickly run through what-if analysis to see how operation changes would affect the profitability. Property and department managers can quickly analyze a number of staffing scenarios and their financial impact to make more timely staffing decisions. Operations personnel can plan at the level of detail they need rather than tailoring their data to align with the corporate planning model. This gives corporate a sense of transparency since they're seeing exactly where the numbers are coming from. Giving managers this level of customization empowers them to own the results and be more engaged, and at the same time, corporate can still plan at the level of detail that they need. Another cloud offering from Oracle is FCCS. FCCS is Oracle's closed consolidation cloud offering, and it can help address regulatory requirements such as IFRS and local GAAP. It also allows to streamline the close process and allow more time for analysis. Moving to a world-class close can help eliminate duplicate efforts, automate manual processes, integrate disparate information sources, and shift to self-service reporting. FCCS includes predefined built-in financial intelligence, standard consolidations and eliminations, currency translations, automated cash flow, journal entries, intercompany, and dashboards. The goal with any FCCS implementation is to shorten the close cycle, allowing more time to analyze and forecast data. SC&H has led a number of successful Oracle EPM Cloud implementations with hospitality industry clients. Here's just a couple of examples of the benefits our clients have realized from Oracle EPM Cloud. SC&H implemented an Oracle Planning Cloud solution for Hilton that was modern, global, efficient, and scalable. Leveraging KPIs, historical data, and best practices, SC&H empowered Hilton with greater forecast accuracy. Now every Hilton hotel manager has the capabilities to more effectively predict key drivers like monthly occupancy and food and beverage consumption patterns. Their increased predictive abilities enable Hilton properties to make smarter decisions around roommates and staffing. Ultimately, SC&H's implementation of Oracle Planning Cloud enabled Hilton to achieve the following benefits and outcomes. Accuracy. The implementation of Oracle Planning Cloud led to a 40% improvement in global EBITDA forecast accuracy. The combinations of new business processes and self-service data created a more efficient and meaningful monthly planning cycle while empowering the business users to own their results. The Oracle Planning Cloud solution also gave insights the organization never had in the past from underlying drivers, assumptions, and metrics, allowing them to see trends and forecast more accurately. The Oracle Cloud Platform also allowed a stable foundation to support the global deployment and enable the organization as they continue to expand globally around the world. Now that we talked about Hilton, let's talk about some of the benefits that any organization can realize with Oracle Planning Cloud. The Oracle platform allows a platform that can be scalable as the organization grows. It also is an application that can be simple and intuitive for the users so that they can forecast and plan more accurately. The tool sits on a modern technology that's cloud-based and can allow for improved functionality. What if scenarios, as users look at different budgeting and forecasting processes, is possible, as well as improving forecast accuracy. And the bottom line with any of these tools is allowing the user base more time to analyze data and spending less time on data input. One of the biggest things that we tend to see with these implementations as well is the use of trends to develop forecast, focusing on KPIs that the organization may not have been looking at in the past to increase forecast accuracy. Other things to consider with any deployment is change management. Involving the executives throughout the implementation can be a great way to push change throughout the organization. Project champions and core team members are key to any successful deployment. Testing and testing often is also another place that can be key to any of these deployments. Oracle as a strategic partner is extremely important on these implementations as the tool is cloud-based. So working hand in hand with Oracle throughout the project, keeping them as an ally is extremely important. Hilton was just one of the many successful implementations that we've had within the hospitality industry. SC&H has also helped out other organizations such as Marriott over a number of years, consulting on multiple projects. We also had the privilege of performing the first live implementation of Pvcs with Thayer Lodging. In addition, we worked with Thayer on a number of other projects, including the implementation of Oracle ERP Cloud. We also worked closely with Apple Leisure Group on multiple projects, including HFM for the closed consolidation and Hyperion Planning for budgeting and forecasting. Now I'll turn it over to Nick to give us a live demo of the Oracle Planning Cloud.
Okay, thanks, Luke. So I'm going to take us through a little spin through an Oracle Pvcs solution that's based in the hospitality industry, specifically around hotel location level planning. And as we go through that, we'll touch on many of the themes that Luke mentioned throughout his presentation, and you'll see some of those through the various screens as we go through it. But since we have a wide audience, people who have probably maybe seen a demo of this before and others who are kind of new to it, I'm going to start from ground zero. And if there's any interest in seeing a more detailed demonstration or diving into any more details around how things actually work, please feel free to follow up with Luke or myself at any time. So as Luke mentioned, one of the key areas where businesses are really focusing is getting into an increased budget or forecasting process, or the ability to get to the information they need quicker and more efficiently. So with that, the Oracle Pvcs solution is what I'm demonstrating here. It's accessed straight through a URL. So this is a complete SaaS solution, software as a service solution. So there's no need for internal investment of hardware. No VPN is required to get to the application, so you don't have to work through, if you have people in locations around the world, you don't have to install software on their machine in order for them to use it. If they have a web browser, they can simply plug in the URL and they're going to be able to get to here through a secure connection. you can link the application back to, through single sign-on, to your Active Directory, so that way it integrates right with your email account, so that way there is no native account that needs to be maintained. So it's pretty simple. Get a URL, send it out to one of your users, get them provisioned, and they can log into the application. From there, they'll log into this home screen, which is also pretty customizable, and so you can tailor it to your business. Here you can see we have this application called Hotel, which is centric around hotel level planning, but you can title the application anything you want. And you can also customize the look and feel of it to accommodate the user base that you're looking to roll this solution out to. In this case, most of the navigation is done through the use of what we call cards or icons, which looks much like a tablet or anything that you would access on your phone, which makes for a very modern feel for accessing these applications. So if you come from an on-premise world of using Hyperion Planning, this is what we call the Simplified Interface in this view. So instead of navigating through forms and folders, you can do so with a more, like I said, custom or sleek approach through these navigation flows of cards. You can do things such as post messages and give email notifications to let people know of key dates that may be coming up. So you can see here I have 2 announcements on my home screen. So I can quickly see I have a budget submission coming up. And also it looks like my IT department or my administration team has rolled out some monthly enhancements that I might want to take advantage of through this next planning cycle. So you really have control into what notifications or what messaging you want to push out to your audience. So with that, I'll quickly go through some of the cards and the navigation flows that we have set up here. I have this planned property icon, which would be the primary target if I was an end user and I was coming in here to do a budget or a forecast. That's where I would go to navigate and get through my planning cycle. And then I have some other cards out here as well that could be useful, such as getting to reports, some tools that I can use to help me facilitate the budgeting and forecasting process, dashboards. If I want to go straight to data entry screens, I can do so. And then also approvals process, which I'll show a little bit later, as to how you can set that up so that way you can actually have a formal submission process of your budgets or forecast and lock them down in a little bit more granular fashion. So with that, I'm going to hop into this custom navigation flow that we've built that really takes me from start to finish of planning out my property. So as you can see, I have a little property overview icon. I go through my rooms planning, which includes everything around my occupied rooms, getting my average daily rate set up so that way I can calculate my revenue for my property. Some other things you can think of in the hotel industry, some key expenses that are pertaining to your room, such as the personnel that may operate the front desk, things of that nature. And then if you're a larger property, you may have outlets. So if you have a restaurant at your property, a golf course, a spa, whatever that may be, you have additional tasks that if you're provisioned to, or if that's your responsibility, you'll see this card, you'll be able to go in here and you'll be able to plan for those things that pertain to you. If you're a smaller property, or even if you're in a different industry, if there are departments or something that's not specific to you, you can eliminate these cards so that way it's not even something the user would see or have to go into and work with. And then we'll even show a little bit of some allocation methodologies that we've set up in the past too, and how you can quickly see those. So I'm going to quickly head over to my property overview screen, and you'll quickly see that I am greeted with some quick dashboards for some analysis. I have some key KPIs running across the top here, and everything in a Hyperion or Oracle Pvcs application is really controlled by what we call a point of view in the upper left-hand corner here. So you'll see that's dictating the data that I'm actually viewing when I'm on this screen. You can see that I'm looking at a working version of my FY18 budget, and I'm looking at total hotel for all my departments. So this means that everything is completely rolled up to a consolidated hotel level. So if you're looking at a regional level, or if your company worked at it with a different entity structure, you can always envision that this is just the top level at which I'm viewing data. And here I'm looking at a Chicago property. And here you can filter it down based on security, so that way a user only sees the hotels or properties that they should have access to. But you can quickly pivot from one to the next. So right now I'm looking at Chicago. I see their operating revenue. I can see some of my key statistics here, such as my revenue per available room, average daily rate. If I want to quickly switch and pivot to my San Francisco property, I can do that. And the charts, graphs, KPIs, everything will update. Doesn't look like San Francisco is faring too hot compared to Chicago from this demo. So with that, we'll flip back to Chicago, which is going to be our main property as we walk through this. And if you want, if there's something you want to look at in more detail, these dashboards are interactive. Some of them you can set up so that way you can pivot and go down deeper into the structures. If you want to go down into operating revenue, you can expand them so that way you can get a better view as to what you're looking at. You do have the ability as a user to see this in a different layout. The bar chart is the best layout to probably view this screen, but if I want to go ahead and pick something else, such as a donut chart, I could do that. Since it's broken out by period, it's going to give me a different view for each month. But you can see there is some flexibility there from an end user perspective to go in and change the view to how they would like to see it. Okay, so we talked a little bit about the main navigation cards, and as I said, I hopped over here to my property overview screen. From there, I have these tabs that I can move down that takes me through my next task. So think of it as a task list or an order of operations in which you can complete your budget or forecast. So I've gone through my overview. I have a couple more dashboards here that I can look at that gives me a little bit more comparison for year over year. This one is set up to allow me to go down a little bit deeper. So if I want to go into transient revenue, I can click on transient. I can see my rack, IBT, and transient allowances and see what data is actually making that up. So you can set the system up, and depending on how you want the data to be displayed, you can set these up so you can drill in and get some more detail, or if you want your users to be able to do that to make analysis, they can do so. From the property overview screen, you can also do things such as set up screens for global drivers. So in this case, this is something that's common across any industry, is if you're trying to do labor planning, or if you want to set up a workforce or compensation-based model. Something you always might want to set up is working hours in a day and days in a month, so that way your employee expenses can be calculated correctly. This is just one view where you can set this up so someone has to come in and make sure this is set correctly, so that way downstream all the planning expenses are being calculated correctly. And you can see, you can do this by department, so we can see all our various departments of our property are listed down the rows, and I can change really by any department, set the working hours in a day. So if I know maybe people in the front desk work more than an 8-hour day, I can go ahead and set that up. So if people are planning FTEs, it knows to calculate with a little bit more hours in there than, say, another department. Some other things I might want to do from a property overview perspective is look at some high-level reports. So in here, we actually baked in some views of a P&L, which you can get to quickly just by clicking on this tab. You have the ability to open it up in a quick and ready PDF format, which you can see is formatted nicely. You also have the ability to export to Excel, and I'll quickly show that feature as well. So if you're someone who prefers to work in Excel and maybe put commentary around your reports, or you want to email this out to somebody, the report will quickly come out in the Excel-ready format. You can enable editing. If you wanted to put your own formulas attached to it, you can off to the side, or add comments to it. You have the flexibility to get these out to Excel and work in an area that you may be a little bit more comfortable with. The reporting studio is pretty robust to allow you to create these consolidated reports. One of the common styles of report that we've seen through a number of hospitality clients now is called a butterfly variance report, where we have comparisons on the left and right side with our accounts or whatever we're looking at down the middle. So that way we can get really extreme levels of comparison going on in these reports. As you can see, this is really comparing 2 different years, and on the left side, you can see we're comparing budget versus forecast and actual, and then you can do the same thing for a comparison scenario on the right side. So you can get pretty complex with the report buildup that you would like coming out of the system. It's pretty flexible. And then quickly, I have another department, payroll, taxes, and benefits report that I have here, something pretty common that you want to review on a monthly basis. And I would just like to show pretty quickly, right now I'm looking at my Chicago property. One of the big benefits of Oracle Pvcs is it does still work on the Hyperion planning and S-based platforms, so aggregations and the ability to look at data at a consolidated level is still one of the key fundamentals of the system. So if I want to go through and look at total US versus just Chicago, I can flip my point of view or my entity at the top of the screen, and then when the report comes back, I'm already looking at total US. So I've gone from looking at Chicago to the entire US region, with just a click of the button there. So I'm just going to move through a couple different screens, and as you're looking at this, if you're not a hotel company, you can kind of think of how this would be broken out. If you're working in a more a service company with restaurants, you might be going through with your various properties or your departments at that particular restaurant. So just keep that in mind. But the hotel concept is pretty easy to understand, so that's why we stuck with this for this demo. So instead of just looking at my property review, I'm now looking at rooms specifically, which is my main revenue generating department for most properties. Same type of dashboards, and I'm greeted with the screen here that's going to allow me to see the properties I have access to and give me some nice graphical representation to let me know if there's any variances or something I need to look at that's happened in the last budget submission that I should be aware of. And then we actually get into some of the key methods in which we plan in the system. So these are our data entry screens, or what we call composite forms. You really can create these in any configurable sense that you would really like to. So if you have prior year versus current year comparisons that you'd like to do, if you want to look at budget versus actual, you can really use the whole screen to your advantage to set up different screens. Where already here I'm just looking at budget FY18. We could have a forecast FY17 screen over here so we can do comparisons. But for this view in particular, I wanted to see my average daily rate impacts and see how they flow through in this nice bar chart below it. Some of the newer features that have just been unveiled in Oracle Pvcs, or Planning Cloud Service, that we really like is the ability to do smart calculations on forms. So as I'm going through here and making updates and make a change, you'll see it's pretty real time. You can do things such as grid spread by updating a year total and have numbers reflect back through the month, and you'll see that that automatically updates. And when I click save and submit the data, the chart below will update as well. Again, this is all controlled to the point of view up here, so whatever property I have access to, I have the immediate ability to flip through it. If I'm doing multiple properties or multiple locations at the same time, I can quickly flip through. We've seen cases as well where our clients like to have that more so in the rows. So if you had a couple different things that you were planning for, we could simply move entity or location down into the rows as well. So that way I'd have my Chicago, my San Francisco, and any other properties kind of grouped together here so I can quickly plan them versus using a drop-down menu. So that's something that's configurable as well. There's a lot of baked-in content with these solutions that Oracle has put in out of the box. For instance, I have the ability to filter. So if I want to filter and I want to remove rows with no data, I can quickly click that button. And I think I want to click hide rows with no data. Nope. We might have to come back to that one. There's other features as well, such as doing adjust data. So you have the ability to come into a cell and use some pre-baked functionality to increase by a certain percentage. So if you know there's some sort of initiative where you have to increase something by 5%, for a given month, or even if it's for a year total, you can do so. You can choose to increase things by a nominal value or by percentage. You can see what the new value is going to be and choose to apply it. And you'll see that automatically applied to my form and saved it for me. So since I'm still working on my rooms, up here I had a tab for my rate impact, which was doing my average daily rate, and I was planning those. Here I can quickly flip over and see my occupancy. Same type of principles, and that's what's nice. As we train our users, as they get in and start to use the system, they become familiar with how you're using and operating with these screens. It's very much like Excel. You can see the look and feel is very much row cell oriented. The planning process really isn't that different than they've done before. It's just adapting and standardizing it to screens and views that are there on the web for you to interact with. So again, if I change year total, if I know I'm going to have an increase here, if I wanted to do an adjust, I think my occupancy is going to go up for the entire year, I can do that and say I think I'm going to have a 10% increase. It's going to be a great year. You can apply. That affects all you can tell the yellow cells I've highlighted. I can click save and quickly submit my data back to the system and see my charts update accordingly. Okay, what we're going to show next is a little bit of sophistication in the system that we've seen a lot of our hospitality clients really jump onto, and that's the ability to do driver-based calculations and the ability to choose how to calculate a particular account. So what you'll see on this form, still simple, a data entry form that a user would come into to plan for their operational revenue and expense. And what you'll see here is a couple of these gray lines. At the top, I have what is kind of like a little mini report for me, so I can see my total operating profit, occupied rooms, and guests. Below that, I have the different segments that actually make up my rooms revenue. I have my best available rate, average daily rate, my occupied rooms, right here for me to see on the screen. And my rooms revenue should just be a byproduct of that calculation. Pretty standard. So ADR by occupancy is a selection that a user can make from this drop-down menu on how they want that account to be calculated. Now, it's always popular to leave a manual input or a blank type option in here. So that way, if a user is using Excel buildup, or if there is some other model they want to link and submit to the system, they don't have to use the pre-baked in calc methods that we call them, or driver-based calculations, but they are available in here for a user to select for it to automatically calculate. So as you can see here, if I'm going to increase this, maybe I want to increase this to 600 rooms for January. Nothing's changed yet when I click Save, so that way you can work through the whole form and see updates as you go. I'll notice that my best available rate for that market segment has now increased. You also have the ability, so you can see, okay, well, that might be a little dangerous if I handed this ability to users to be able to select calculation methods. They could select the wrong thing, or maybe it's not something that corporate wants them to select. You do have the ability to build in validations as well. So say I accidentally pick percent of group revenue for this revenue account, which doesn't really make any sense. I don't want my best available rate room revenue to be calculated off group revenue. If I go ahead and click Save, you can bake in validations to let someone know they made an invalid selection, and go ahead and fix it before they move ahead with their planning process. So there's a lot of functionality and robust features that can be added into this, but having that flexibility to be able to pick driver-based calculations has really been a theme that has caught on through many of our clients. And we've just seen that even things simple such as their operating expenses. Some hotels make more sense to base it off a percent of revenue, where others might want to base it on how many rooms they've sold. So having those different selections here, whatever has been the most accurate, is really flexible and gives them the ability to plan their property what's most accurate to them. The other good thing is you can push these out from a global basis. So as we've rolled these solutions out, we've had corporate designate what are the appropriate calculation methods that should be used for each account. And you can push those down to the property level so they're already there and set. So when a user comes in, they really don't have to make any differences. They go through, they plan for their drivers, they click Save, and their P&L is being calculated. What this also allows the flexibility to do, a lot of times our clients don't have the driver metrics that are in the system to give them these results right away. So maybe they don't have some of the percentages they would need to calculate this. Well, what we've been able to do is back calculate their drivers, even for their actual scenarios, based upon whatever their rooms revenue was or their occupied rooms for that given period of time, and what the end result was, their operational expenses, and come up with the driver should be, so that way when they look in the past, they can actually see historical trends on those drivers and become more driver-oriented throughout the entire planning process. So with that, quickly to show a couple more things before we get to the Q&A. A lot of our models do come in with a labor-based approach as well. Similar type functionality where we have, instead of showing two different screens, here we have it in a tab view at the top, where you can do labor benefits and drivers versus the dollar accounts that are associated with them. This is a job-based approach, which we've seen a lot of the hospitality-based companies going to, since there is a lot of turnover at locations. Doing things either on a position basis or on a job basis, and trying to calculate that on a monthly basis is proven to be more accurate and more sustainable, so that way you're not managing actual named employees, you're just doing the positions that you need for that particular facility or property, and working on that operational expense. And if that number is going up and down, if you know you're going to release somebody or add another head, you're only doing it for a particular position, and then you can come over here and calculate the end result after you have those drivers set up. Same type of themes apply from when we're calculating outlets. So if we're going down to restaurants or golf courses, You can set up views, as I mentioned, for those particular users who are going to access those parts of the application. And then you just keep the same theme kind of consistent with how they're using it. You're playing your drivers, you're playing your P&L accounts, get your calculation methods set up. A lot of the basis for restaurants is an average check per customer. So if you get your guests into the system, or you anticipate how many customers you're going to have come into your location, set up an average check and have a driver-based calculation that can calculate the revenue or the dollars that you're going to get based on that. Then all you're doing is worrying about how many customers you're getting to your restaurant. And then kind of piggybacking off of that, your cost of sales is going to be a natural byproduct of your revenue accounts. So I know a particular percentage of my my breakfast revenue might be due to beverage sales or food sales. I can set that driver base up as well and have the calculation kind of flow through. And then one other quick and simple view I'd just like to show is just some allocations that we've done. Particularly a property is a big one is cafeteria. So if you have one cafeteria that's serving multiple properties, or really any shared services type facility that you're allocating out to other business units, pretty simple model where you have departments running down the left-hand side here and use percentages to show how you're allocating. And a quick check at the bottom to make sure, okay, I come in, I know my executive lounge usually receives most of this allocation, versus looking at these percentages and making sure it's right. I can quickly see that that's reflected here at the bottom. If I were to over allocate and make this 40% and have that update, I see that the graph real time did give me that reference had increased. On save, you can do things such as add validations, so that way it flags it and lets you know that you're over allocated. Okay, I need to take action here, make a correction, and get this back to being correct. Okay, so the only other thing I wanted to quickly show, and this might be for some more diehard Hyperion fans, to just let you know that one of the favorite features hasn't gone away, which is Smart View. Smart View is an Excel-based ad hoc tool that allows you to connect directly to the cloud application for ad hoc analysis, so that way you can slice and dice the data in the application any way you want. It happens the same way. So all it is an add-in that you install, and you'll see a Smart View ribbon up here in Excel. This will give you your own little menu over here that allows you to connect to that cloud URL. And doing so, as long as you have access to the particular properties that you're looking at, you can pull any data set out of the system that you want and use really a pivot table type functionality to view that data. And this is highly powerful. It allows you to do pivots. So now I see I have total hotel over here on the left side. I'm quickly doing a budget, forecast, and actual comparison. As I drill down on that, if I want to go bottom level of my departments, I can quickly see every single department that's contributed to my budget, forecast, or actual data sets. You have the ability to set up options in here that are particular to you. So if you want to suppress out data or rows that have no data, you can set that and hit refresh. And then I've quickly eliminated anything I don't really need to see. So say I want to focus on rooms. I have the ability to keep using this ribbon and all these buttons that are already built and baked in. There's no customization here. This is all out of the box. Keep only on my rooms department. I'm still looking at operating profit, but maybe I want to zoom in and start looking at my various properties. I have the ability to do that. Let's stay focused on the US. Keep only again. And maybe I want to zoom into all levels of US. And I can quickly see my different regions and my bottom level hotels, such as Burlington South, Vermont, and see how they've contributed and rolled up. Smart View also, real quick, provides the ability to get to those same planning forms that we saw there on the web. So we were using that pretty interface, the simplified interface, to do a lot of our navigation flows. If you do have users that are accessing the forms through Smart View, or prefer to use it through Excel, they can do so by right-clicking and opening the form up. And those same screens with the same validity and same constraints, so a user can't modify what's in the rows or columns, appears, and it has all the same driver-based calculations and functionalities that we saw in the web with those calculation methods on how to calculate a particular account. So with that, I think that's a good high-level overview of what the Oracle Planning and Budgeting Cloud solution can offer. And like I said, if you do have any other further questions, I think we're going to get to Q&A right now, so I'll turn that back to Colin. If you do have any interest in seeing a more detailed demonstration, please feel free to reach out to us as well.
Great. Thanks, Nick. I know that's going to be super helpful for some of the folks on here. We had a few that said that they aren't using Oracle or Oracle Cloud services whatsoever. So hopefully that was a good kind of behind the scenes view of how things are built and how they operate, especially for the hospitality industry. So we have a few questions here. The first is, it was mentioned that Hilton put all of their properties on the cloud, but are there corporate users on the cloud as well?
Yeah, so Hilton's corporate consolidation and planning tools are still on premises, which they currently have a very large hybrid environment with large on-premises footprint and an even larger cloud footprint. We often see hybrid environments as organizations make their journey to the cloud. So not a big bang approach, but often we see hybrid environments as organizations are moving. When we actually did the corporate implementation for Hilton, the cloud was not available. So they are planning in the future of moving everything to the cloud, but that's something they're going to do in the future and not at this point. And that actually addresses another question we have on here as well, which is talk about the journey to the cloud. If it's typically a big bang approach or a hybrid environment more common, we tend to see hybrid environments as companies make their journey to the cloud.
Great. Thanks, Luke. Next one here, are automated interfaces from other systems to the cloud possible?
So we get asked this a ton, and the answer is absolutely. So to give an example, at Hilton for the properties, we actually created 19 inbound and outbound interfaces to the cloud. And all these integrations are completely lights out, fully automated. They include load schedules that happen on a scheduled basis, email error messaging if something goes wrong, if any issues are encountered. And to give an example of some of the volume, during the close, actuals are fed over to the cloud planning solution every half an hour. And outside of that, they have integrations from their labor as well as a revenue management tool that come into the system every 15 minutes. And we're talking about hundreds of thousands of records being loaded in every 15 minutes or half an hour. So it is an extremely high volume of data that can be loaded in and out of the cloud. And we've seen it in a lot of our clients as well. It's one of the fears a lot of organizations have moving to the cloud is, how am I going to get data in and out from other disparate systems? But it's something we've addressed, and it's definitely possible.
Awesome. And the next one we have here is have the monthly updates affected your applications? And also someone asking about grade regression testing.
Yes, that's a question that we get often is, this software as a service solutions, they get monthly updates that are pushed in. Maybe it's something we don't want to adopt, or we want to have more control over the update process that happens to our applications. This is actually something really about 6 months ago that Oracle really has addressed. And we have seen Hilton actually implement this as regression testing that comes with these applications. So Oracle will actually take your application and you can define a series of scripts that you would like the Oracle to go through for your particular application for that month, that monthly update. And if something is wrong or trips a flag in those test scripts, they will let you know, and you can delay the push of that update to your application. So that is something that in the forefront, it was a little bit more of a problem, but Oracle has addressed it, kind of saw that need across the customer base, and now is offering that as a way to prove that the updates coming in won't affect your applications.
Great. Well, it looks like that's all we have for today. We appreciate everyone's time. We really, I think this is going to be a great opportunity for everyone moving forward as you start to evaluate your organization, whether it's on hospitality, in the hospitality space or not. There's a lot of really good takeaways here from today. So thanks, Luke. Thanks, Nick. We are going to provide the link, as we said, to today's presentation, so be on the lookout for that. If anyone has any final questions, we have Luke and Nick's information here. Please feel free to reach out. But on behalf of all of us at SC&H Group, Thanks, and have a great rest of your week.